Hello, everybody. We're going live this morning to talk about Google Sheets and how to use ChatGPT to troubleshoot your formulas. I know a lot of us struggle with that, and don't think it's just you. Like Andrea and I, struggle with formulas
All the time.
all the time.
Even the basic stuff. I saw your example on the thing for the duplicate one, the conditional formatting to find and highlight the
Yeah,
duplicate. Such a basic formula, but I don't know, for some reason, like every time I go back to ChatGPT, I was like, what is the formula again for for the highlighting the duplicate ones?
yeah,
Every
I
time.
know. I feel like, when you were in school and you had a calculator and they were like, don't use the calculator because you're going to lose those skill sets, like you're relying on it. I feel
Yes.
like that's the same scenario. I rely on ChatGPT without like I should be remembering these formulas and things, but it's just so much
Yeah.
easier to just go and ask and get them to spit it out for us. So
It's a perfect example. It is the calculator from the back in the days,
yeah,
for
right.
sure. But I mean,
And
and
like
the
we've
only
got
thing
enough going on in our minds, so why not free up that space and let
exactly,
ChatGPT give it to us, right?
that is exactly how I feel. The only problem is when it has like an outage, we feel like a blind person in the middle of a shooting. Like, what the heck do I do? I
I
feel
know,
so
right?
lost when ChatGPT goes out that I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like bad addiction,
You just have to stop working for that day, right?
right?
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here. Feel free to comment down below. Tell us you're here. If you have questions, we can try and answer those as we go, whatever challenges you have. And yeah, I guess we'll dive in. We were going to go over some tips on using ChatGPT. I'd love to know in the comments too if you guys are using ChatGPT for your Google Sheets formulas or anything else in your business. That would be awesome to know. Good morning. Somebody says good morning.
Good morning.
So we'll go over some tips and then maybe some examples, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to, oh, you know what? I'm going to drop that document before I share my screen. Just give me a moment. Oh, I don't have Facebook open. Hang on.
I can get the link.
I'm in passive income. I can drop it there.
I'll drop it in the hub.
Okay. I have a doc I made for you guys. It just has the tips that we're going over today. So if you want to grab it in the comments. There we go. Okay, so that's the document I'm just going to pull up right now for us to all have a look at. Present, share screen. Okay. Awesome. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. And if not, you can also grab the document. So some tips. ChatGPT is good, but you need to give it some direction. I'll show you. I think I have an example later of where I didn't give it enough, and it'll obviously give you the wrong answer. So you need to be really clear when you're in ChatGPT about what your objective is. Be very specific with your request. So often our spreadsheets might have multiple tabs. So you want to provide the tab names to Google Sheets, what type of data it is. So is there numbers? Is there dates? What cells are involved, or even rows and columns? And then what you want to accomplish. So if you provide all of that, it's going to actually spit out the formula that you want, and you can copy and paste it into your Google Sheets. If you don't give it enough of that detail, it's going to give you just some sample data, A1 to A10, and then you'll have to change those out, which isn't a big deal. But if right off the bat you give it exactly what your spreadsheet looks like, so you're describing it, you're going to get the exact formula, and then you can just copy and paste it in.
And just make sure that you say first and foremost that you are working in Google Sheets, because if you don't, if you just say spreadsheet, it will give you some, it might give you Excel formulas, and Most of the formulas are pretty close, but some formulas, you can use in Google Sheets, but you can't use in Excel and vice versa. So just make sure that you say, hey, I'm working in Google Sheets. Please help me with this, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'll switch to this screen on ChatGPT. I'm sure yours does this too, where it says Excel, right, Andrea? So
Yes,
in
it
here,
does. Uh-huh.
I've said Google Sheets right here. So I was very clear about that. So just note that it does say Excel up here. But when I copy and paste this code in, it works. So I don't know why. Maybe it just doesn't like Google Sheets, but it's working more. It's saying Excel up here, or maybe that's just the title of the block. You know how there's like the code
Yeah,
block, the Excel,
probably.
and I think there's some other ones.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
that's just the label of it.
I never had any problem with the formulas that they gave like not working because it's Excel. So
Yeah, I think it's just the name of the code block.
yeah.
Um, okay, if you have something really complex, you might want to break that down for ChatGPT. So sometimes our formulas have multiple things going on. So you might want to kind of solve one of those formulas within a bigger formula and then keep adding to it if you're struggling with creating something big. I don't know if you have any input on that, Andrea. I know you've done some big ones. It kind of just takes a lot of like back and forth with it, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier to start out small and grow from there instead of starting big, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. You wanna break down because when you're building your formulas, it is like, it's you get the function X, you want to do this part, and then you build that into a bigger formula to do X, Y, and Z, right? So just make sure you break that down in your head first, or in a paper, whatever it is. Like, where are you trying to get to? What is your final goal? But then you break down, right? So you want to, um yeah, just make sure you do like by X, Y, and Z. Kind of like, when you're building a prompt for like an image in Midjourney, for example. That's the only example I can think of
yeah,
now. But then you have in the prompt you have part A, B, and C. So just make sure you give those directions to ChatGPT so it can help you better. Because if you
yeah,
just put a whole thing in there, it will give you something. It always gives you something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's this thing that you're looking for. It might just be because it didn't understand. So just make sure that you're explaining, like really breaking it down for ChatGPT. That's the trick, right? The magic of being able to use ChatGPT. You just got to be able to really explain like where are you trying to get to.
yeah. And what else was I going to say on that point? Oh, in ChatGPT, so I'm going to go over here. This is just an example I had done before. It tends to, I think by default, now I use ChatGPT 4 most often, which I have instructions in the background of how I want things to spit out. But I think even without the instructions, I think ChatGPT tends to give you a lot of description of what's happening. So it'll give you the formula, but then all sorts of description. So
Mhm.
if you don't want that, like I find sometimes I just want not even for Google Sheets, but anything else. Sometimes I want a list, and it will like give me the bullet point
The
and then go on
description.
like give a couple sentence per item. So in that case, I just tell it like no descriptions, no like explanations, just, give me the list or just give
Straight
me
to
the
the point.
formula so that it's not including all this information if you don't want it. Sometimes that explanation is useful if you're trying to learn Google Sheets. You can read through and follow along with how that formula was created. Okay, so the next thing. So once we get this, you obviously want to test it. So you're going to click this button to copy the code and put it into your Google Sheet. Test it out if it works. If it doesn't, you can just troubleshoot with ChatGPT. I often, so I'll put the formula in and I'll tell ChatGPT exactly what's going on. So, hey, it's pulling this value instead of this value, or it's coming up with an error. So I tell ChatGPT what's going on. Can you please fix it? And sometimes a couple like back and forth like that, and we will figure out the problem and get it fixed. If you're still struggling, after a few back and forths, open a new chat with ChatGPT, rephrase your question on how you want to, what you want to achieve, and then start fresh again and see if that just kind of like triggers a different answer to your question. What else? Oh, and then often, like once I've tested a formula and it's working, I often take that formula back into ChatGPT and add some things. So if I want to make sure there's no divide by zero errors or something else, then I'll pop it back in and I'll add to it from there. So going back to that point of like creating something simple and then adding on to that formula as I go. What else? Oh, and then just know that it's not perfect. So it's not going to work all of the time. It works most of the time, but there's times that it just, can't get what you want. I'm sure you've had that happen. Have you, Andrea? Where you just
All the
can't.
time. And it's funny because like ChatGPT, it's like, the best friend now. And sometimes it will like give me a formula or something, and then I go like, no, this is not what I meant. Like, no, just no. Like the way I talk back, it's so funny. It's like, no, this is not it. Just give me
Yeah.
another one. It's not what I meant.
And do
Knows
you
that the
find,
problem is me, right? I didn't explain, as clear as I should. And then I'm like, no, stupid. No.
yeah, do you find if I show frustration, I find ChatGPT actually gets worse. So I've found I have to like remain calm, deep breath, like,
Moody.
let's try it. Like I'm all often like, okay, let's try this again.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed too when it's fun. You're right. It does. Like it really is like an artificial intelligence because
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, this worked so great. Thank you so much. And then it's like, oh, I'm so happy. Love it. I'm so glad it worked for you. So yeah, it really does have a kind of
Yeah.
like a mind of its own. It's so funny. I love Chatty.
Yeah. So in this document, I just gave a few examples of how we use it. So not only just to create a formula, but how do I use this formula in Google Sheets? So it's as simple as that. There's no like special science to asking some of these basic questions. Here's another one that I often use is, why is this formula giving an error? And then I'll put the formula in. If it's not coming up with the answer, then I'll have to go in and describe the Google Sheet more to it. And then I put together this table, and I wanted to pull examples right from my ChatGPT, which I use all the time. But then, of course, I'm trying to like sort through and find them and couldn't. So I had ChatGPT pull these up for me. But these are just examples of things that you can ask, especially for conditional formatting. I find it really helpful. If you're new to Google Sheets, conditional formatting is a really great way to elevate your sheets, and starting off kind of small, I find, and making an impact with, the colors and the strike throughs and some automations for your sheet, changing depending on the data that's there. So these are all ChatGPT prompts based around conditional formatting that you can play around with to get what you're looking for. So I'm going to go into here. Yeah, so this is just an example of something I had asked. So I would like a Google Sheets formula that adds the number of checkboxes in C20 to C35. Now, I wasn't specific enough. So in this example, it gives me, okay, count if they are true. So it's just assuming that I wanted to know which checkboxes are checked off. And so that's no problem. So once ChatGPT comes up with its answer, I can go and say, you're just having a conversation with it. So I said, okay, but this only counts the boxes that are checked. I would also like to count the empty checkboxes, but not the empty cells. And then it goes ahead and gives me the formula from there. So that's just an example. You're just having a conversation with it. Don't be scared of being wrong. Just put it out there and then adjust from there. And if it goes way off course, start a new chat.
Yeah, that's actually a good point too. If you think that the thing just like derail, like the whole thing went wrong, went south, start a new chat, because ChatGPT has this, memory thing, and then it will keep you giving you answers based on your previous reply. So yeah, if you think you're like, this is not at all what I wanted, just
Yeah.
start new.
Yeah. Um, this one is just an example of me troubleshooting. So like, why is this Google Sheets formula give me an orange color instead of a bluish green? I can't remember what the answer ended up being, but this color was supposed to be bluish green. It was coming up as orange. So, that's just an example as easy as that. Just putting the formula in, telling it what's happening, and see if it can troubleshoot it for you.
Mhm.
I have some examples here. Okay. So here's an example. I'm keeping these examples really easy for a couple of reasons, for you guys and for me, because I'm terrible with like on the spot live stuff. But say you have this, you're doing this divided by this. So you're doing 12 divided by 0, and you have this whole spreadsheet and you have this formula running down all of the cells, and you don't want this divide by 0 error. So this is just an example of what I would do with ChatGPT. I would grab this, I'd copy the formula, I would come in, and we're going to start a new chat. Now, I'm in ChatGPT 4. We'll see how it does. I've found it slow lately, but I also have a slow internet. So we'll see how it does. 3.5 is perfect. Are we still at 3.5, right? That one's perfectly fine to use. You don't really need 4 for some of these things.
Yeah.
So I have this Google Sheets formula, and it returns a divide by 0 error. Please change my formula to return a blank cell instead of the error. Let's see how it does. And then I'm going to paste in the formula. Mine tends to give me these long, lengthy answers because I have it like programmed to do workbooks and some other things. So, it gave me it's plain text. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to copy this code and bring it over here and paste it in. And so there it follows that. So now it's showing 0. So if I change this to 1, then it divides by 1. So that's just an example of, taking those formulas, tweaking them, because we're all about templates, and you don't want that template when all the data has disappeared. You don't want like the divide by 0 and the other errors showing up. So that's probably one of the big things I use it for, is I'm kind of just like lazy too. And I just take that formula and tell ChatGPT, I don't want errors showing up when there's no data. And it will fix it for me. And then I paste it back in.
Now, if you don't know, like in this case, you knew what the error was, right? Because of course you can divide it by 0, but you go back to the AI. So you can copy that you see inside of the box. Just copy the whole thing. I copied from the error. Yeah, I copied this whole thing. Then I say, I got this error. What do I do?
Yeah, I got this error.
Like
what
in Google
do
Sheets.
I do? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I haven't done that actually.
You gotta say that it's in Google Sheets.
Yeah, so it's going to tell you exactly what's happening. That's awesome. I'm going to get a big, a blog post length
right
description. That's how mine's programmed to. I don't know what everybody else's looks like, but mine will be intense. What other? I have another example.
Yeah, so see, in that case, it gave you a different formula. So it gave you the if error, which in this case, it would work the same as, because for the other one you had, I guess, if this is equals 0, then 0. If not, you do the division. And now this one just gave you an if error.
Yeah.
So like it will either be 0 or
so it'll show alternate value.
Right. But if you remove that, it will just give you 0.
0. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it usually gives me is the if error, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, another like quick example is so you have these values here and you want to add up um, the values that are connected with Sam. So I'm just going to make notes. So we have column F and G. So I'm going to start a new chat. And I'm going to say, I am working in Google Sheets. And in column F, I have values. And in column G, I have names. I would like to add all of column F that has Sam in column G. Hopefully I got those columns right. Yeah. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. Big long answer. I should have told it just the formula.
Yeah, it will tell you the whole story of why Google Sheets is Google Sheets before.
Yeah, it'll give you the history on when Google Sheets started. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to copy that and go into here. And it comes up with 40. Awesome. So that works out. So let's take this just to make sure this works. I'm going to take this prompt that I did. We're going to open a new chat. Now, I often tell it to not do descriptions. I haven't been with Google Sheets. I don't know why, but I have to go and change my instructions because it seems to have gotten longer than it used to. But I recently made a change yesterday. In my instructions, I had asked it to occasionally give me analogies. And it just it gives me an analogy in every sentence and it's super annoying. So I made a change yesterday and now I'm still not happy with how it's working. But we're going to take that same prompt and we're going to say just the formula. No descriptions, please.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Amazing. That's all we need. Cool. So I don't know if people have questions before I move on to show you Andrea's sheet that she's made here.
Now, another thing to copy that code in there, the formula.
Yeah.
Now open a new thing and just say, please explain this Google Sheet formula. Right now.
Whoop.
And then paste
Yeah.
the formula.
That's a great idea. I use this, especially when you get the spreadsheets out of our template vault, or you've purchased one from somebody and you're trying to understand the data. This is a great way to break things down and get a novel on.
Yeah, yours really does a novel. Mine is a little bit more direct to the point, but yeah, I do have that in the instructions as well. Just
I think I'll have to change mine to
point.
be more concise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so SUMIF, this is the magic spell that starts our formula. And believe it or not, my Google Sheets has or my ChatGPT has toned it down. Like yesterday, it was like, this is a treasure hunt. And
oh no. the classic ChatGPT sentences, right?
It's still kind of, I told it to be conversational too. So it's like, hey, we're about to sum up some numbers, but only the ones that meet a certain condition.
Yeah, remember when I think mine I changed mine. Remember when I explained that this ChatGPT is used for the business, and the business is me and Melinda, and then every time I asked the question, it was like, "Hey there, Andrea and Melinda."
Yeah.
I was like, "Jesus, it's so weird."
Yeah, it's funny because I did the same thing in my instructions. I mentioned you and myself, and it
Yeah.
doesn't do what you did. So I don't know what you did to
Oh.
tell it to like use both names, but that's
I think
funny.
it's still to this day sometimes it will be, and now it doesn't, it stopped mentioning your name now. It just say Andrea and business partner. I didn't change that. Your name is still there, but now it says Andrea
Yeah.
and business partner. I was like, oh,
Yep.
that's so weird,
See,
Teddy.
mine's still showing a lot of analogies. So it's saying, so column G, this tells Google Sheets to look at every cell in column G. Think of column G as a guest list, and the Google Sheets is the bouncer checking each name.
Let me see if
It
my
sounds like explain it to a 5-year-old. Sam, this is the condition. So Google Sheets is on the lookout for any cell in column G that says Sam. It's like telling the bouncer we're only interested in guests
oh my
named
god.
Sam.
I mean,
Oh my god.
it's good if you know you need to, like, if you don't understand the technical terms. I guess that's good.
Yeah, I am thinking like really like more complex formulas. That's actually would be probably helpful
Yeah,
to have this explanation.
yeah.
So if you guys like that, go and put some instructions in there that you want analogies, and it will give you analogies for everything. So F, finally, this tells Google Sheets where the numbers are that we want to add up. So while it's checking the guest list in column G, it's actually adding numbers from column F, but only for the guest named Sam. Actually, it's like a pretty good like description of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is giving me a scenario. I don't know why mine is like now writing like almost blog post style, so I'm gonna have to change it. But
In summary, in
yeah,
conclusion,
why it's useful. I'm surprised there's not like 5 frequently asked questions at the bottom to go with my blog post. So, anyways, Debbie says ChatGPT is like a naughty teenager. It absolutely is.
it really is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Should I show them the spreadsheet you had created? I haven't actually played around with it.
Yeah.
Andrea made this Google Sheets assistant prompt generator, which is pretty cool. Again, because you want to make sure you're capturing all that information to tell ChatGPT,
Mhm.
so it makes it easier. So what Andrea has created here is on the left-hand side is the information that we're putting into what we want ChatGPT to know and solve for us, and it generates the prompt for us, and then we're just copying this and pasting it into ChatGPT.
Mhm.
So should I press clear all?
Yeah, you can. I haven't used that in forever.
I know,
You
that's
just
why I was
see-
thinking like maybe it will.
Yeah. No, you can go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a new look is coming. Ooh.
Yeah, go to advanced.
Um,
Yep. Scroll down. Yep.
is that as far as it goes? Continue
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go
Click in
to.
there
They make it so small.
and allow. Yep. Now you're gonna have
Okay,
to clear all again. Yep.
fingers crossed. Okay,
There we go.
awesome. Okay, so the first question, are we creating a new spreadsheet from scratch or working with an existing one? So she's got some drop downs here. And so you guys can take notes from this. Like, even if you don't have this, you can kind of think about the things that you're putting into your prompt. You can see from our examples, they're really simple. We haven't overthought things. But again, if you're struggling, give it more information, and that usually helps solve things. So let's say we're working on an existing. We can say we have numbers. You can check off if you have text, dates, times, formulas, functions, image, graphics, links, conditional formatting, data validation, charts and graphs. Sometimes you don't know what you want to be working with, and that's okay as long as you're in ChatGPT describing what you want to happen. It'll usually tell you if you need to use like conditional formatting or the data validation.
Mhm.
What's the tab name? We're going to keep this easy and just say sheet 1. Explain what you want to do. Oh, what do we want to do?
That's a great question. Um.
Let's
Oh
see.
my gosh. Can't think.
What about like
Oh,
this
do
is just easy like
oh,
oh
sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do like the strike through on the
The
text when
to-do
we check a
list.
checkbox.
Yes, that's oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, do a to-do list or something, and then cross off the
Yeah, okay. So
funny.
I have a to-do list and I have checkboxes in column A, and I have tasks in column B. And when column A, so when you provide instructions for like when a checkbox is checked, you can use just general language of like the checkbox is checked.
Yeah,
But you could also say that the checkbox is true or the cell is true, and that means that that box is checked.
yeah.
So, and when column A is, I'm going to say when column A is true, um, please, what's it called? So when you like strike through, that's it.
Back through. Yeah.
Please strike through the cells in column B. So see how specific I'm being, describing the columns and what's happening, because that's going to really help us. This one is, can you please provide help with
Yeah, these are just some random
what
questions that
formula?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I should go through those. I'm going to use what formula should I use, but there's all sorts of questions to help prompt you
Mhm.
for like how to shorten this formula, what's wrong with this formula, what tabs and headers do you suggest I use? There's a massive list in here that you can help guide your prompts.
Mhm.
Okay, so what is your level of comfort with using Google Sheets? I'm going to say I'm somewhat comfortable. And then I'm going
Yes.
to,
So those the only thing that will do it will help ChatGPT help you with like you know how you had the analogies and stuff like that. If you say like
Mhm.
I know nothing about Google Sheets or nothing about formulas, it will basically describe it to you as you're a 5.
Yeah, like you even have that one in here. I'm a beginner and you
Yeah.
need to explain Google Sheets to me like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable. I understand. I'm somewhat familiar. I know nothing about Google Sheets formulas. So yeah, it'll adjust that answer, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so generate prompt.
Hopefully it won't be broken. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it did it. It's good. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. I'm gonna paste it in
That's
there.
fine. These spaces are fine.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's the Google Sheets. I don't know why. Sometimes when you copy and paste stuff, it just gives this extra space, extra characters. I don't know how
Yeah.
to turn it off.
Yeah. Oops. Okay, let's see. I should have said no descriptions, but while it's working away, I'm just going to check if anybody has any questions while we're working away on here. Do you see anything popping up, Andrea? I don't have two screens.
No, no
You're
questions.
good?
Yes, you have nah, yeah, no question.
Okay, perfect.
Drop it in the comments if you do use ChatGPT or if you had no idea that you could use ChatGPT. Somebody said it earlier. Let me see here.
Mhm.
Say I didn't even know you could use chat for creating spreadsheets. Does it know all formulas and stuff well enough where if we describe what we want, it will know? Yes, it knows all the formulas, it knows all the scripts also. Actually I'm able to use app scripts because of ChatGPT. um I never took any like scripting scripts courses or classes or anything. So I just go by ChatGPT and common sense, I guess you could say. So it helps with that too. It just again, if you break it down like really good for ChatGPT, it will basically do that for you. Uh,
Mhm. And
it's
if Google Sheets does come out with something new, there is like ChatGPT, especially 3.5, only has so much information up to a certain point.
mhm.
ChatGPT 4 is more current, but it's still not like it can't pull like very recent information. So if something
Yeah.
new launches, it will be missing that information.
Yeah.
But you can also go to, like, Google has a breakdown of all of their formulas in a table,
Hmm.
and you can always copy and paste any information you find there into ChatGPT to be like, hey, there's this formula, and then work with it that way. So you just have to provide the information to ChatGPT
Yeah. And
to make that
Christina
happen.
said she uses it to get help with formulas and to write product descriptions also.
Nice. Okay, so it has given us step by step what to do. So we're going to select the range. So say it's B1 to B100 as an example. We're going to open conditional formatting, go to format, conditional formatting.
Do you want to
We'll,
do that real quick on the spot, like
yeah.
who's following what he's doing or he's telling? And also, while you open a new tab in there, I will just shamelessly plug in our membership. um, if you don't, like Mel say, ChatGPT is not current on the new formulas. If Google Sheets ever introduce a new one, they just had something coming out last year. But if you need more help with formulas or anything, we have in our VIP membership, we have something that is called Tech Talk. We have Hash helping us with the tech support, and he is amazing. He was even like part of the studies for Google when they were testing the new formulas to release. I forget which formula he helped with. Um, but yeah, so if you need any like further help with formulas, we have you can put anything, you can submit any questions that you have, and he will go over in video for you. He releases a new video every Tuesday, and he breaks it down. He used to be a teacher, so he breaks it down so easy for you to understand. And if there's any script or any more complex formula that it's just basically not for beginners or intermediate knowledge, because he's super advanced in his knowledge. So if he does give something more complicated, he will provide the script or a copy of a spreadsheet or whatever it is. So we have like an extensive support that goes beyond ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will help you up until some point, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes it's just like there's a lot of things interlinked, and then Chatty won't be able to be as much help unless like you take time to explain and break it down. So anyways, so that is something that if you need extra support, we're here to help.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if ChatGPT solved everything, we wouldn't need our weekly tech calls.
Right, I know,
Yeah.
and even as Christina say, Hash is awesome. He really is. He is amazing, and he explains it so well. Even like sometimes I'm going, Hash, help! Like I need this. Like why is this not working? He's just like, oh, it's just like this and that, and he makes it sound so simple. And I'm like, my brain would have never gone there.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Google Sheets too, is it can go in so many different directions and
Yeah,
different ways of doing things. But Hash knows like the most like efficient, like best way to do things,
yeah.
because when you build something out, you might realize, oh, I should have, done the formulas this way. And
Hmm.
so yeah, it's cool that he has that like foresight to be able to see like here's how it should be set up. So
Yeah.
okay, so let's follow along here and see if it gets it right. So we're going to highlight the range in column B. We're going to open the formatting and do conditional formatting. And then we're going to put this custom formula in. So I'm going to copy this right now. And we're going to go back here. So I just set up some test data here. And we're going to go to format, conditional formatting. And in the instructions, it told us to, we're going to choose custom formula is. So where am I? Here we go.
The drop down. Yep.
Um, oh, I didn't highlight highlight those. Oh, no, I'm going to go here first. Sorry. And select the range. Um,
Just highlight again.
yeah,
There.
there we go. I always do that first and I forgot. Okay. So then here's your formatting rules. So when you click here, if you're struggling with conditional formatting, you can check in here. There's usually there's so many different built-in options already here for you to use. So if something's empty, it's not empty, the text contains, does not contain. It's got one centered around dates. And then numbers, is it greater than, less than? And then at the very bottom is a custom formula is. So I'm going to click on that one. And I'm going to paste the formula in here that it told us to. And then we wanted to do a strike through on the text. So that is down here. First off, this is the fill color. And just like by default, it makes it a green fill color. So I'm going to take that off. And then I'm going to click this strike through here. And I'm going to click done. And then moment of truth, we go over here and see if it worked. So we're going to click here. Oh, it's way off.
Oh, because you didn't start on A1. The formula told you to start on A1.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to go back.
Just click on the column B. And it will open again. And then change that to A3.
A3. Okay, click done. Let's see. There we go. And it does the strike through. And you can change. So if we go back here, like if you don't want the strike through and you want to, another cool one, I've seen Andrea does this, the text color, maybe you want it to go lighter, which is kind of cool. So it makes it faded. So it kind of disappears. I like that look too. You can change the color of it. So if we want, I don't know, let's say the fill color is red. So you can do all sorts of different things with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if that happened to you, you started on A3 and then the thing was off, you could go back to ChatGPT and troubleshoot that with him. Like, hey, when I check, the box on A3, it is strike through. It's doing that to cell, I don't know, B7, right? So you just put in there, and then Chat will help you troubleshoot that. Be like, hey, make sure that this is starting here, or make sure that you change it. It will give you other examples of like why it could possibly be wrong. So we use that a lot too, like why is this off, or like why is it not
Yeah,
working?
so let's actually try that out. So when I check here, it's crossing off the one in B6. Okay, so
A4,
I
B6.
checked A4 and B6. When I check A4 as complete, oops. What was it? B6?
Yeah.
Is this okay? So B6 is the cell that has the strike through text, and it should be, I often tell it what it should be doing,
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
it should be cell B4.
Yeah.
Let's see if it helps us.
There you go. Select the correct range.
Yeah.
Or
It suggests
adjust
there might,
the rule. Yeah.
yeah. So it suggests there's a mismatch in the conditional formatting rule. Select the correct range. So make sure you've selected the correct range in column B that you want to apply the conditional formatting to. If your tasks are, so it's giving you an example, if tasks are in B1 to B100, ensure the exact range is highlighted. Does it mention for the custom formula, ensure it's written as A1 equals true. Adjusting the one at the starting row of your selected range is if necessary. This formula should apply to the entire range you've selected in column B, matching row by row with column A.
There you
So
go.
it's
That's
indicating
what
it
it
right
was.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do have to read through. It's going to give you all sorts of different solutions. So you do have to, start at step one and work through and see what what's happening. But
And if after that you still like have no idea what just happened, like I don't understand, you can just ask it to like dumb it down and say, hey, just be like a conversation, hey, I still don't understand. Don't know what's wrong. Can you please explain to me like I'm five, or can you please dumb it down? You can ask like any sort of language to ChatGPT. It will catch on, just knowing that it's too technical for you, right? You can say, hey, this reply is too technical for me. Can you please dumb it down, right?
mhm.
Or can you please break it down further, or yeah,
Can you
whatever it is
explain it?
that works for your brain, because our brains are different, right? What works for me may not work for you. And like Mel said, maybe she needs the analogy to understand, or maybe you need something more direct and to the point, because that was a very long answer for something that, right? But yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes, or
Yeah, so I've I've said I still don't understand. I'm very new to Google Sheets. Can you explain it to me like a 5-year-old? So maybe that's too extreme because now it's comparing it to a
how
coloring
to
book.
cast a spell. That's so funny.
Mine like loves spells, treasure chests, magic.
Right. Yeah, and remember, like the way it's spitting the answers for Mel is going to be different for you, because we use the ChatGPT has the custom instructions, right? It's something that you set in the back end to, let chat know about your business, or how you want it to be talked to, or the tone of voice that you want. Like you can give any kind of instructions, like, hey, please structure all the answers to be like a blog post, or give me analogies, or just be direct and to the point, or be funny. You can choose whatever you want, however you want ChatGPT to talk to you, and that's how it's going to spit the answers. That's why, what you might see here might be different than what comes on your ChatGPT.
Mhm. I've never used these, but you can say like bad response,
Yeah.
regenerate, copy. Here's where you can like if you want to copy this and start a new conversation, just to like clean it up a bit, you could copy that
Mhm.
and take it elsewhere. So, yeah, I don't know if you can do that at the start. I often copy, yeah, I would go back to my first prompt, I would copy it, but I don't see there's no button to
Huh.
copy it. So you just have to copy it manually, but for some reason you can copy, I guess, your last conversation.
The reply, I
Or
guess.
or like the last reply, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you copy all, yeah, so it's all
I guess you can
the,
just copy the reply and not what
yeah,
you type. Yeah.
that makes sense. If you're making like a workbook or a blog post or something, you
Yeah,
can copy it.
that's
Yeah,
true.
awesome. All right. I don't know if we have anything else happening. I hope that was helpful for everybody.
Also, what I do, besides the help with formulas, I also ask ChatGPT for help with setting up a structure of your spreadsheet. So I just say, I start basic, right? I start like, hey, I have an idea for, I don't know, I'm going to use a budget spreadsheet as an example. So, hey, I want to create a budget spreadsheet in Google Sheets for X, Y, and Z. And then I give like a target audience or something, right? A budget could apply to anybody really. But if you're creating a specific um, spreadsheet, like I want to create a attendance sheet, right, for my first grade class in Google Sheets. Can you please help? I just say that. Can you please help? Or can you give me ideas? Or can you do this? So it will give something. You will give an answer, and then I will be like, hey, can you structure it down further? And just be like, give me all the tabs that I need. Name the tabs, name the headers, name this, name and that, and then if I want to interlink some data, I'll be like, hey, I want to, maybe interlink I want to create a drop down for, the student's name, right? Or whatever it is that you want, you can ask, and then it will give an example. Like, it won't help you with, like, it will give you a basic spreadsheet idea, right? So it will give like the headers like on a row, and then it will give like different tabs if you want. It will sometimes it will give you formulas too, like, hey, if you're doing this budget spreadsheet, you can use the sum formula on this column, for example. Sometimes it even gives like, put this on A2, right? It will give you like the down to the cell, if you ask for it, and then it will give you the formulas too. So I usually, when I have an idea, I just put it in there just to see like what could it give me. I don't know, maybe I thought of a very simple attendance, sheet, and then I could take it down. I could take it even further, right? I could ChatGPT was like, oh yeah, you could also add this and this and that. It's like, oh my gosh, I did not think of that. So I just use this back and forth as like a brainstorming, not necessarily to build my spreadsheet, but just to like brainstorm and see like what else could I do, to make this unique, right?
Mhm. What
So
other
that's
features and functions you can add to it?
yeah, yeah. And then last but not least, I also use for I create like prompt generators for a lot of things, where it just like, I use the concatenate formula and then just like do like the prompt parts separate, like I did with the one that Mel showed you.
Mhm.
But I use that for like almost everything that I do, that it's like changes just like basic information, but like the prompt to remain the same. So yeah, I just use the, I don't know where that form,
Oh,
I
is
think,
that, like, because of the app script?
yeah, I think the formula is in the script on that
Yeah.
one. But yeah, let me see if you do you have, I don't know if you're gonna have that target audience, mapping the target audience. That's a good one.
Oh, that's not in the inventory. That is the Etsy one? That one?
Yeah, the inventory, I think I have the product description one. That one is also a prompt one,
Map my target audience, this one?
I think. Yeah, so I put the prompts on the, yeah, on the cell. So just it enters the information, and then it says over there like, I am doing a market research on the, and then C8 will pull the target audience, right? The niche, and then the target audience within this niche, and then sort them into, and then I pick up all of the, what I wanted. Like for example, for that portion, I want the pain points and the needs. But then for the other ones, for the demographics, it's like longer. So basically, just saves me time, that I don't have to keep typing everything that I want. Or even if I had that in like a Google Docs, for example, I would still need to go out and change the prompt and type in and, copy and paste. This one just, it just basically, it's a shortcut. That time is money, and
Mhm.
we want it to be as productive as we can. So I love using
For
those
sure.
those prompts in Google Sheets.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Let us know. And if you don't catch us live, you can watch the replay. It will be here. And you can just drop your questions in there also under, the video when you're watching the replay. And we'll come back and answer that. And again, if you need more help with Google Sheets, we have our VIP membership. It is open. It's always open for you guys. And we have a lot of stuff in there. We have done for you spreadsheets. We have trainings. We have how to sell your spreadsheets trainings. We
Yeah.
have tons of spreadsheets for sellers resources and for you to resell, and lots of stuff. And again, I think one of the most valuable things that we have right now is the Tech Talk, um, which you can get help with anything Google Sheets related. Um, so yeah, this is something that we're really proud of having. Because I know yes, we have trainings. Yes, you can go on YouTube and type in what you want. Yes, you can use ChatGPT, but sometimes the logic, and like I say, sometimes I'll ask for hash for help, and it's just like, wow, my brain would have never gone there, right? It's just a fresh new perspective from a pro. He's a Google Sheets pro. So yeah. Let's see if we have any comments. Uh, thank you. I love your Facebook.
Uh,
Thank you so
so
much.
nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. Yeah, that should be it. Let
Yeah.
us know also what do you guys want next that we do our lives on.
Yeah, because we don't know what we're doing next week. We had a few ideas lined up and now we don't know. So
We ran out already.
tell
My
us
God, time
what
is just flying. Like, what is happening?
I know.
I can't even. So yeah, let us know what you wanna us to go live on next, or if you just
Yeah.
wanna questions, Q&A, whatever it is. We're happy to help.
Awesome. Well, it's good
Um,
to hang out with you guys this morning. And we're here if you have any questions. Just leave them down below or post in any of the groups. So
Sounds good. All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.
bye, guys.
Bye.